Right now, before this year is out, tariffs will quietly add about $700 to the average American household's tax bill. $700 you never see itemized, never vote on, and can't opt out of. And on July 24th, the single law responsible for the newest slice of it is set to legally expire. A federal court has already ruled that law unlawful. On paper, relief is coming. It isn't. Here's the story you're about to be told. America's tariff wall is coming down. A law struck down in court, then expiring on a fixed date, the tax finally lifting. That's the soundbite. And it's almost exactly wrong. Because the wall isn't coming down. It's being rebuilt. Through a different law, one that was written before the old one even died. And of that $700, the part tied to the expiring law is only about $100. The other $600 was never going anywhere. So here's what's really happening. This is not a story about a tariff ending. It's a story about a machine, a legal replacement engine that, every time one tariff is struck down, quietly produces the next one to take its place. Same wall, different law, and almost nobody notices the swap. The expiry date isn't a finish line, it's a shift change. And to see it, you follow the chain, because it has already run twice. How the first tariff wall was struck down and rebuilt in 4 days. How that rebuild was struck down too. How the next replacement was drafted before the last one died. What the churn costs you right now. And why, even after July 24th, the tariff still doesn't fall. 5 steps. 1 machine. Get this wrong, and you'll wait all July for a tax cut that was never coming, while the same money keeps leaving your wallet under a new name. Move 1. Where the chain starts. February 20th, 2026. The Supreme Court strikes down the administration's original tariffs, the ones built on emergency powers law, as unconstitutional. For about 4 days, it looks like the tariff wall is simply gone. 4 days. Because on February 24th, the administration reaches for a different statute, Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, and puts a flat 10% tariff on nearly everything America imports. The wall never actually came down. It just changed its legal footing over a single weekend. That was the first rebuild. It would not be the last. Move 2. The replacement had a problem of its own. On May 7th, a second court, the U.S. Court of International Trade, ruled Section 122 unlawful too, saying it lacked the large and serious balance of payments deficit the statute requires. 2 tariff regimes struck down by 2 courts in under 3 months. But read the fine print. That ruling is under appeal, and while the appeal runs, the tariffs are still being collected. You are paying, today, a tariff a court has already called unlawful. And Section 122 carried a second catch. By law, it can only last 150 days. A tariff with a built-in fuse set to burn out at 12:01 a.m. on July 24th. Which raises the question. If the replacement is unlawful and about to expire on its own, what happens on the 25th? Move 3. The answer was written before anyone thought to ask it. On June 2nd, less than 4 weeks after Section 122 was ruled unlawful and 7 weeks before it was due to expire, the U.S. Trade Representative proposed the next wall. This one runs on Section 301, a completely different law, and it targets 60 economies, 59 countries plus the European Union, together 99.4% of everything America imports. Effectively, the entire map. The stated reason? Failing to enforce bans on forced labor goods. The proposed rate, 10% for most, 12.5% for the rest. Comments close July 6th. The public hearing is July 7th. Now line those dates up. The next wall was proposed weeks before the current one expires, timed to be ready the moment the fuse burns out. Not a gap in the wall, a shift change, scheduled in advance.
And that's the moment.
This stops being a story about any single tariff. Watch the pattern, not the paperwork. Emergency powers tariff struck down, replaced by Section 122. Section 122 struck down, replaced by Section 301. The law keeps changing. The 10% wall does not. What America has built isn't a tariff, it's a machine for producing tariffs. One that treats every court defeat as a cue to draft the next statute. That's the hidden economics. The headlines cover each law's death. Almost no one covers the thing that keeps rebuilding it.
Move 4.
Put a price on the machine. In 2025, America's average effective tariff rate hit 7.7%, the highest since 1947, nearly 80 years ago. With Section 122 in effect, Tax Foundation puts the current rate near 11.7%, and by Penn Wharton's separate measure, the effective rate has climbed from about 2% at the start of 2025 to roughly 7%. Either way, it didn't inch up, it multiplied. And a rate is just money with a delay. Tariff changes have pulled in about $254 billion in customs revenue since the start of 2025, $250 billion in 16 months. That money comes from somewhere. Companies like Procter & Gamble. P&G's current outlook puts its tariff cost at about $500 million this fiscal year, and it already raised prices on roughly 1 in 4 of its American products last August. Tide, Love's, Oral-B. That's how a courtroom fight over which statute is legal ends up in your cart. Not as tariff policy, but as the same detergent quietly costing more.
Move 5.
July 25th, the morning after. On paper, if Section 122 simply expired with nothing behind it, the rate would fall. Tax Foundation says from about 11.7% back toward 8.5%. That drop is the relief you're being promised. But look at what's standing behind the expiry. If the Section 301 proposal proceeds as written, 10 to 12.5%, covering that same 99.4% of imports, it covers nearly the same ground, at nearly the same rate as the tariff it's replacing. In that case, the rate very likely doesn't fall to 8.5 at all. It stays close to where it is right now. That is a conditional. Section 301 is still only a proposal, and it could be narrowed, delayed, or struck down in court, exactly as the last two were. But that is precisely the point. Whether the final number lands at 10 or 11 or 12, the machine's output is the same. A wall roughly this tall, standing in roughly this spot, no matter which law happens to be holding it up this month.
So here's what nearly everyone
Circling July 24th gets wrong. Both sides are staring at the wrong thing. The people cheering the expiry think a tax is ending. The people dreading it think the wall is permanent. They're both watching the law, and the law was never the point. The real cost isn't any single tariff's rate, it's the churn itself. A business trying to price a product, sign a supplier, plan a year, can't, because the rule governing its costs has been rewritten twice in 3 months under 2 statutes, with a third already proposed and waiting. The uncertainty is the tax you can't itemize.
And that's the quiet economics of a tariff wall
that keeps changing its legal name. A tariff you can plan around. A machine that regenerates every time it's struck down, you can only absorb. It surfaces as $700 on a household, $500 million at a single company, $250 billion in customs revenue. And the dollar figures are the easy part. At least they sit still long enough to be counted. The churn behind them doesn't.
Which brings us back to that calendar.
And the 24th circled in red. You could tear that page off, and for a moment it would feel like something ended. But behind it is the same wall, freshly stamped under a new law, waiting for the 25th. And that $700? Most of it was never leaving in the first place. It just needed a different name on the paperwork.
If you want to see the machinery underneath the headlines,
The forces still working long after the news moves on, subscribe. We follow the money, so you can watch it move before it reaches your wallet.